The void between stars held secrets, and Captain Marcus Drake knew he'd found one that would shake the galaxy. His exploration vessel, the Nightshade, drifted silently through the darkness of uncharted space, its advanced stealth systems making it virtually invisible to conventional sensors. The ship's midnight black hull absorbed what little starlight reached this remote region, 300 light-years beyond the Galactic Council's territory. "Captain, you need to see this," Lieutenant Rainer Patel's voice carried an unusual edge of excitement as she called from the sensor station. Her dark eyes were fixed on the holographic display, where a faint energy signature pulsed like a distant heartbeat. Drake moved to her station, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the displays. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught him to trust his instincts, and right now, they were screaming that this was more than another routine anomaly. "Analysis?" he asked, studying the strange readings. "It's like nothing in our database, sir. The energy pattern is familiar somehow, but masked. Almost like it's deliberately hiding." Rainer's fingers danced across the controls, trying to get a clearer reading. Drake nodded slowly. "Take us closer, but maintain stealth protocols. Inform engineering to be ready for emergency maneuvers." As the Nightshade crept forward, the darkness ahead seemed to shift and ripple. For a moment, Drake thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Then the void split open. A massive structure materialized before them, its surface a perfect black that made the Nightshade's hull look pale in comparison. It was a station, but unlike anything the Galactic Council had ever built. Clean lines and sharp angles spoke of an aesthetic that Drake hadn't seen in centuries: human architecture. "Impossible," whispered Chief Engineer Talos Van, who had joined them on the bridge. His scaled skin flickered with patterns of disbelief, the only non-human aboard the Nightshade. "The records say humans were wiped out in the Exile." Before Drake could respond, a beam of light shot from the station, enveloping the Nightshade in a grid of scanning energy. Their stealth systems, the most advanced in known space, meant nothing against it. A voice filled their comm system, speaking in perfect standard galaxy, but with an accent Drake had only heard in historical recordings. "Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. Your stealth technology is impressive, for Council design." Drake exchanged glances with his crew before responding. "This is Captain Marcus Drake of the independent exploration vessel Nightshade. We mean no harm. We're explorers, nothing more." A pause followed, then, "Drake, an Earth name. Interesting. Your crew complement?" 23 humans, 1 Centaurian," Drake answered, nodding toward Talos. Another pause, longer this time. The massive station remained silent, but Drake could feel the weight of countless hidden sensors analyzing every molecule of his ship. Finally, their voice returned, different this time, female, authoritative. "Captain Drake, I am Admiral Ishara of the Shadow Fleet. Your discovery of this facility is both unfortunate and fortuitous. You have 2 choices: leave now, forget what you've seen, or dock and learn the truth about humanity's exile. Choose quickly." Drake didn't hesitate. "Permission to dock, Admiral." The station's surface shifted, panels sliding away to reveal a docking bay large enough to swallow the Nightshade whole. As they maneuvered inside, Drake caught glimpses of other ships, sleek, black vessels that made his own advanced ship look primitive by comparison. The docking bay sealed behind them, and a delegation waited as Drake and his senior staff disembarked. At their head stood a tall woman in a midnight blue uniform bearing no insignia. Her silver hair was pulled back severely, but it was her eyes that captured attention. They seemed to glow with a subtle inner light. "Welcome, Captain Drake, to Haven Prime," Admiral Ishara said, her voice matching the one from the communication. "You've just stumbled upon humanity's best-kept secret. While the galaxy believed us extinct, we built an empire in the shadows." Drake studied the Admiral, noting the subtle signs of advanced biotechnology, the too-perfect posture, the barely visible shimmer of subdermal enhancements. The Exile was 200 years ago. The Council destroyed every human colony, every ship. Ishara's smile held no warmth. "The Council saw what we wanted them to see. They exiled us, yes, but that proved to be their greatest mistake. In isolation, we evolved. We advanced. And now, she gestured to the vast station around them, we have grown strong enough to return. Why show us this? Rayner asked, her voice steady despite the tension. Because, Lieutenant Patel, Ishara turned her luminescent gaze to her, we need people like you. Explorers. Those who look beyond accepted boundaries. The galaxy believes humans are extinct, and for now, that belief serves us. But soon, very soon, we will need those who can move between both worlds. Drake felt a chill run down his spine as he realized the implications. You're planning something. We're planning everything, Captain Drake, Ishara replied. The Council's lies, their betrayal, their attempt to erase us, it all ends soon. The question is, will you and your crew help us write humanity's next chapter? As Drake looked around at the advanced technology, the powerful ships, and the determined faces of these shadow-dwelling humans, he knew they were standing at a turning point in history. The humanity that had been exiled was about to return, and the galaxy would never be the same. Tell us everything, Drake said, sealing his fate and that of his crew. Tell us how we can help. Admiral Ishara's eyes glowed brighter. Then let me show you what humanity has become in the darkness between stars. The archives on Centauri Prime were supposed to be secure, their data vaults impenetrable. Yet Intelligence Officer Kira Novak moved through them like a ghost, her neural implants interfacing seamlessly with the ancient security systems. 2 centuries of dust covered the forgotten terminals, but beneath that dust lay the truth about humanity's exile. Eastern Sector clear, whispered Agent Raven Torres through their secure link. She was keeping watch outside, making sure no Council peacekeepers discovered their unauthorized archaeological dig. Kira's fingers danced across the holographic interface, years of intelligence training guiding each movement. Almost there. These records, they are not completely erased. Someone wanted them to be found. The data streamed through her neural link, classified Council meetings, secret communications, military orders that were never meant to see light. Each file painted a darker picture of the exile than any human had imagined. A particular file caught her attention, Operation Starfall, Final Solution to Human Expansion. The timestamp marked it exactly 1 day before the Council's vote to exile humanity. Director Perseus needs to see this, Kira muttered, copying the encrypted data. The name of humanity's shadow leader still felt strange on her tongue, a figure more myth than reality to most of their hidden empire. A sudden alert from Raven interrupted her thoughts. We've got company. Council Special Operations, heavy weapons. They know we're here. Kira's heart raced, but her hands remained steady. How long? 3 minutes, maybe less. Whatever you found, make it quick. The final file decrypted before her eyes, and what she saw made her blood run cold. It wasn't just exile the Council had planned, it was extinction. Humanity's crime hadn't been aggression or expansion. It had been potential. The human capacity for advancement exceeds safe parameters, the Council report read. Their rate of technological development has increased by 300% in the last decade alone. Projections indicate they will surpass Council capabilities within 30 years. Recommendation: complete removal from galactic society before they become uncontrollable. Heavy footsteps echoed through the archives corridors. Kira quickly uploaded the last files and activated her stealth field, another piece of technology the Council thought impossible for humans to develop. Raven, fall back to extraction point beater. I'll meet you there. She moved silently through the shadows as armored Council troops stormed the archive chamber. Their weapons were impressive, but their tactics were predictable, unchanged in 2 centuries of perceived superiority. Kira slipped past them, her stealth field bending light perfectly around her form. Only when she reached the hidden shuttle did she allow herself to breathe normally again. Raven was already there, her dark combat suit showing signs of brief combat. Had to silence 2 scouts, she reported. No alerts raised. The shuttle lifted off silently, its own stealth systems making it invisible to Centauri Prime's defense grid. As they broke atmosphere, Kira began analyzing the stolen data more thoroughly. This goes deeper than we thought, she told Raven. The Council, they were afraid of us. Not of what we had done, but of what we could become. And now? Raven asked, piloting them toward their rendezvous point with the Shadow Fleet. Now they should be terrified. Kira's neural implants projected a hologram showing humanity's hidden achievements: quantum phase technology, consciousness transfer, dark energy manipulation. Everything they feared, we've become. And more. The shuttle's communication system activated, displaying a figure both women knew well. Director Perseus appeared as he always did, face hidden in shadow, voice modulated to hide any identifying characteristics. Report, Officer Novak. Sir, we found the truth. The exile wasn't punishment, it was containment. They saw our potential and tried to stop it. And now? The director's question held weight. Now we have proof. Proof of their lies, their fear, their attempt at genocide. The Council didn't just exile us, they tried to erase us from history itself. Perseus was silent for a moment. Your assessment of the strategic impact. Kira had already calculated this. Several Council member species were against the exile. The Centaurians, the Arcturus Collective, even the Rigelians. With this evidence, we could fracture the Council's unity. Turn their own fear against them. Proceed with the next phase, Perseus ordered. Contact our sleeper agents within Council space. It's time they learned that their nightmares have been watching them all along. The transmission ended, leaving Kira and Raven in contemplative silence as their shuttle approached the hidden fleet's position. 2 centuries, Raven finally said. They gave us 2 centuries to grow stronger in the dark. Kira nodded, reviewing the files again. They thought they were containing a fire. Instead, they forced us to become their void itself. As their shuttle docked with the massive stealth carrier, Night's Vengeance, Kira could feel the weight of history shifting. The Council had feared human potential, had tried to stop their evolution. Instead, they had forced humanity to evolve faster, harder, embracing technologies and developments they never would have pursued in peace. The Council wanted humanity gone. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous, an empire born in shadow, forged in exile, and now ready to step into the light. Send everything to analysis, Kira ordered as they disembarked. I want every Council weakness, every potential ally, every secret they thought hidden identified and catalogued. It's time to show them exactly what humanity has become. The Shadow Fleet waited in the darkness, its ships black against the star field. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would remember why they had feared human potential. And this time, there would be no exile. The Rigel system's defense grid was supposed to be unbreakable. 19 layers of quantum detection fields, gravimetric sensors, and neural-linked AI monitors protected the Council's largest shipyard. Commander Jin Wei watched it all through the quantum sight implants that replaced his original eyes, seeing vulnerabilities where others saw strength. Ghost Squadron, final check, he subvocalized, his thoughts carried through quantum entanglement communicators to the 12 stealth ships surrounding his command vessel, Shadow Blade. All units reporting ready, Commander, his XO, Major Dante Rodriguez, confirmed from the tactical station. Phase drives charged. Quantum shields at full capacity. Jin allowed himself a slight smile. The Council's greatest weapons platform lay before them, and they had no idea that humanity's advanced tech had already rendered their defenses obsolete. Begin Operation Eclipse, Jin ordered. Execute according to plan. Across his quantum sight, he watched as Ghost Squadron's ships activated their phase drives. Technology developed in exile allowed them to partially shift out of normal space-time, becoming literally untouchable by conventional weapons or sensors. The Council thought such technology was impossible, one of many assumptions they'd make that would prove fatal. The first sign that something was wrong came when Shipyard Control lost contact with their outer sensor grid. By design, it appeared to be a simple technical malfunction. Jin's teams had spent months planting quantum viruses in their systems, each one dormant until now. Control systems compromised, reported Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka, their cyber warfare specialist. Her fingers danced through holographic interfaces as she directed their AI attack systems. Their AIS are being redirected to our shadow servers. They are blind in sectors 7 through 13. Jin nodded. Proceed with Phase 2. Deploy the Whispers. From each Ghost Squadron ship, smaller objects emerged, Whisper drones, another product of humanity's exile innovation. Each drone was barely larger than a human hand but carried enough quantum-based processing power to outthink most Council defensive systems. Whispers have breached the inner perimeter, Rodriguez reported. No alarms triggered. The shipyard's massive form loomed before them, its docks filled with the Council's most advanced warships. Jin's quantum sight revealed the energy signatures of their targets, prototype quantum core generators, the Council's attempt to match technology humanity had mastered decades ago. Begin data extraction, Jin ordered. Copy everything, then corrupt their research databases. Let's set them back another decade. Through his neural link, Jin monitored the operation's progress. Their Whisper drones were performing perfectly, infiltrating the shipyard's most secure data cores while leaving no trace of their presence. Any attempt to access the stolen data later would show only random system failures. Commander, Tanakar's voice carried an edge of excitement. I've found something unexpected in their secure files. Project Oracle, it's a predictive analysis program. They are trying to calculate where humanity might have gone after the exile. Jin moved to her station, his quantum sight scanning the data. They are looking in the wrong direction. Download it all. Our analysts will want to know how close they've come to finding us. Suddenly, alarms blared across the tactical display. Unexpected patrol route change, Rodriguez reported. Council dreadnought approaching Sector 9. Jin remained calm. Time to completion. 3 minutes for full data extraction. The dreadnought will detect us in 2, Rodriguez added. Jin's augmented mind calculated possibilities at quantum speeds. Deploy phantom signatures in Sector 12. Let's give them something to chase. Ghost Squadron's electronic warfare systems created false sensor readings, making it appear that a small merchant fleet had dropped out of FTL in the opposite direction. The dreadnought, predictably, altered course to investigate. Data extraction complete, Tanaka confirmed. Viral corruption of their databases initiated. Ghost Squadron, prepare for phase shift, Jin ordered. Synchronize quantum fields on my mark. The massive Council dreadnought was already turning back, its commanders beginning to suspect deception. But they were fighting yesterday's war, looking for enemies that played by old rules. Mark. In perfect synchronization, Ghost Squadron's ships shifted partially out of normal space. To any observer, they would have seemed to fade away like mist, leaving no trace of their presence except the chaos they'd sown. Hours later, aboard the Shadow Blade, Jin reviewed the operation's results with his command staff. The stolen data confirmed their worst fears and greatest hopes. The Council is preparing for war, he told them, projecting the analyzed intelligence into the air between them. But they are preparing for the wrong enemy. They expect us to attack with brute force, like we would have 2 centuries ago. They don't realize how we've evolved, Rodriguez noted. Exactly. Jin's quantum sight displayed the Council's military preparations. They are building bigger ships, stronger weapons, thicker armor. But they haven't grasped that the nature of warfare itself has changed. Tanaka pulled up the Project Oracle data. According to this, they've investigated thousands of possible locations for human survival colonies. They never once considered that we might be hiding in dimensional phase space, literally between the moments of their sensor sweeps. Jin stood, looking at his crew, each one enhanced, evolved, a product of humanity's determination to not just survive exile, but to transcend it. Prepare the data for transmission to command, he ordered. Director Perseus needs to see this. The Council is vulnerable not because they are weak, but because they've spent 2 centuries preparing for the wrong kind of war. As Ghost Squadron made its way back to shadow space, Jin contemplated the next phase of humanity's return. The Council had forced them into the dark, thinking they were containing a threat. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous, an adversary that had learned to turn darkness itself into a weapon. Send word to all Shadow Fleet elements, Jin commanded. Operation Eclipse was successful. Begin preparations for Phase 3. The pieces were in place. The Council's own arrogance had blinded them to humanity's true evolution. Soon, very soon, they would learn that the species they had exiled no longer existed. In its place was something new, something that had mastered the very fabric of space and time. The war was about to begin, and the Council wouldn't even see it coming until it was too late. The Grand Council chamber on Nexus Prime hadn't changed in 2 centuries. Ambassador Dante Romano found that telling, a governing body so convinced of its own permanence that it never saw the need for evolution. He stood in the shadows of the observation gallery, his diplomatic credentials identifying him as a representative of the Arcturus Trade Federation. None of the council members below suspected they were debating humanity's fate in the presence of a human. The attacks cannot be random, High Councillor Vexthor of the Carillion Dominion growled, his crystalline form reflecting the chamber's lights. 3 major shipyards breached, 6 research stations compromised, our most secure databases corrupted. Someone is testing our defenses. Dante's neural implants recorded everything, transmitting through quantum channels to the Shadow Fleet. His genetic camouflage, another gift of exile technology, made him appear as a typical Arcturian, all angles and metallic skin. Perhaps, Ambassador Lyra Tizen of the Centaurian Alliance spoke carefully, we should consider the possibility that our old assumptions need revision. Dante smiled inwardly. Lyra was one of theirs, not human, but a sympathizer who had discovered fragments of the truth and chosen to help. There were more like her throughout the council species, those who had looked at the official history and found it wanting. Revision. Vexthor's crystalline form pulsed with angry light. You speak of revision while our systems burn. I speak of wisdom, Lyra countered. 2 centuries ago, this council made a decision that altered the course of galactic history. Perhaps it's time we examine the consequences of that choice. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Dante watched as centuries-old alliances began to crack. His implants identified subtle shifts in body language, pheromone releases, and energy signatures, all indicating growing stress fractures in the Council's unity. Supreme Chancellor Naz Duran raised his hands for silence. We cannot change the past. The human exile was necessary for galactic security. Was it? A new voice joined the debate. Ambassador Kelvor of the Rigelian technocracy stood, his cybernetic enhancements glinting. Our analysis of the recent attacks suggests technology far beyond our current understanding. Technology that manipulates quantum states in ways we thought impossible. Dante tensed slightly. The Rigelians had always been the most scientifically advanced of the Council species. Of course they would be the first to recognize the true nature of humanity's advances. What are you suggesting? Chancellor Duran demanded. I suggest that we consider the possibility that humanity didn't die in exile. That perhaps, in pushing them beyond the boundaries of known space, we gave them exactly what they needed, freedom from our limitations. The chamber fell silent. Dante could almost taste the fear rising from the assembled representatives. Fear not just of humanity's survival, but of what they might have become. His quantum comm pulsed with an incoming message from Director Perseus, initiate Phase 4. Dante straightened his diplomatic robes and stepped out of the shadows. The Arcturus Trade Federation would like to present evidence relevant to this discussion. All eyes turned to him as he approached the central platform. His genetic camouflage was perfect, his mannerisms exactly what they expected from an Arcturian diplomat. 2 days ago, our deep space expeditions discovered this. He activated a hologram showing the wreckage of a Council patrol fleet. These ships weren't destroyed by weapons. They were shifted. Partially phased out of normal space-time. Their crews are alive but in a state of quantum suspension. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Such technology was thought to be theoretically impossible. How? Chancellor Duran demanded. Who could do this? Perhaps, Dante suggested carefully, the better question is, who did we give 2 centuries of isolation to develop beyond our understanding? The impact of his words rippled through the chamber like a shockwave. Some representatives sat in stunned silence. Others began arguing frantically. A few, the ones Dante's implants identified as having military backgrounds, showed signs of genuine terror. Lyra Tzen stood again. I move that we formally acknowledge the possibility that the human exile was a mistake. That we open investigations into treason. Vexthor interrupted. This is human sympathizer propaganda. Is it? Kelvor challenged. Or is it the truth we've been avoiding? We thought we were containing a fire. What if we instead cast it to the stars and gave it universe to burn? Dante watched the chaos spread, exactly as planned. His implants detected multiple representatives already sending urgent messages to their governments. The council was fracturing along precisely the fault lines humanity had identified. The Arcturus Trade Federation, he announced formally, proposes an immediate review of all policies regarding human exile and the establishment of a contact protocol should any human elements be discovered to have survived. Seconded, Lyra called immediately. Thirded, Kelvor added. Chancellor Duran looked around the chamber, seeing his once unified council splitting before his eyes. This motion requires consideration. We will recess for 3 days to consult with our respective governments. As the chamber erupted in argument and discussion, Dante quietly made his way out. In the corridor, he activated his secure quantum link to Director Perseus. Phase 4 complete, he reported. The council is fracturing exactly as predicted. Their fear of the unknown is turning them against each other. Excellent, Perseus replied. Our deep space sensors detect multiple council species already mobilizing their fleets, not against us, but against each other. Prepare for Phase 5. Dante smiled as he boarded his diplomatic shuttle. The council had spent 2 centuries believing they had destroyed humanity. Now that belief was becoming their own undoing. His shuttle lifted off from Nexus Prime, its quantum engines humming silently. Below, the council continued to argue, not realizing that their greatest fear was already moving among them, wearing their faces, speaking their words, and preparing for the moment of revelation. The game was entering its final phase. Soon, the shadows would pull back, and humanity would step into the light, not as the exiles they had been, but as the power they had become. Fleet Marshal Helena Voss stood on the bridge of the Shadow Fall, humanity's most advanced warship, watching as the quantum sensors tracked the chaos spreading across council space. The massive vessel, nearly 3 kilometers long, represented everything humanity had become in exile: powerful, innovative, and invisible until the moment of choice. All Shadow Fleet elements report ready, announced Tactical Officer Victor Kane, his cybernetic interface directly linked to the thousands of ships waiting in phase space. Ghost Squadron, Phantom Division, and the Wraith Armada are in position. Helena's neural implants processed the strategic display, showing the council worlds in disarray. Their carefully orchestrated plan had worked perfectly. The council was fragmenting, their fleets positioned against each other rather than united against the true threat. Director Perseus is ready to address the fleet, her XO, Commander Naomi Chen, reported. The holographic form of humanity's leader appeared on the bridge, still shrouded in shadow as always. Fleet Marshal Voss, the moment we have prepared for has arrived. Initiate final phase. Helena nodded, her augmented mind already calculating the precise sequence of events. All ships, prepare for phase shift synchronization. Operation Daybreak begins in 5 minutes. Throughout the Shadow Fleet, hundreds of thousands of crew members, each enhanced, evolved, hardened by exile, made their final preparations. 2 centuries of waiting, building, advancing in secret were about to end. Message from Ghost Squadron, Kane reported. Commander Wei confirms Council defense networks are compromised. Their quantum detection grids are blind. Ambassador Romano signals that the Council emergency session is convening, added Chen. All major species representatives are present. Helena allowed herself a small smile. Perfect timing. Begin countdown to phase shift. Prepare the quantum broadcast system. The Shadowfall's engines hummed with dark energy, their power carefully contained by fields that bent reality itself. Around the massive flagship, thousands of Shadow Fleet vessels waited in perfect formation, invisible to conventional space. Phase shift in 3, 2, 1. Across Council space, reality trembled. Thousands of advanced warships materialized simultaneously in key positions, above capital worlds, around strategic installations, near major fleet concentrations. The Shadow Fleet had emerged. In the Council chamber on Nexus Prime, panicked alerts flooded every communication channel. Supreme Chancellor Duran stared in horror at tactical displays showing impossible readings, massive ships appearing from nowhere, their technology beyond anything the Council possessed. Helena's voice, transmitted across all frequencies, echoed through every Council system. Attention Galactic Council. This is Fleet Marshal Helena Voss of the human Shadow Fleet. 2 centuries ago, you attempted to erase humanity from the galaxy. You failed. On countless worlds, civilians and military personnel alike watched in awe as the black ships hung in their skies, their hull designs clearly human but evolved into something new and terrifying. We did not die in exile, Helena continued. We transcended it. While you stagnated, comfortable in your perceived superiority, we advanced. While you looked for us in distant space, we learned to step between moments of time itself. The Shadowfall's quantum sensors detected Council fleets attempting to respond, their ships looking primitive compared to humanity's evolved technology. We could destroy you, Helena declared. Our phase cannons could erase your cities before your defensive systems even detected a threat. Our quantum torpedoes could unravel the fabric of space around your fleets. But that is not our purpose. Director Perseus's hologram nodded, and Helena initiated the second phase of the broadcast. Across Council space, evidence began flooding their networks, proof of the conspiracy behind humanity's exile, records of the Council's attempted genocide, and documentation of humanity's achievements in exile. We offer you a choice, Helena announced. The old Council can end today, peacefully, replaced by a new alliance of equals. Or you can resist, and learn exactly what humanity has become in the darkness you banished us to. Commander Chen's console lit up with incoming transmissions. Multiple Council species are standing down their fleets. The Centaurians, Rigelians, and Arcturus Federation are formally requesting diplomatic contact. On the tactical display, Helena watched as the Council's unity crumbled. Some species immediately surrendered, others pledged allegiance to humanity, while a few prepared for hopeless resistance. Final communication from Director Perseus, Chen announced. Operation Daybreak is complete. We are authorized to begin phase transition. Helena stepped forward, her augmented voice carrying to every corner of Council space. For 2 centuries, we watched from the shadows as you ruled a galaxy through fear and manipulation. That era ends today. The Shadow Empire emerges not as conquerors, but as architects of a new future. The Shadowfall's quantum core pulsed, its power echoing through space-time. Around it, the Shadow Fleet's ships began their synchronized display, a demonstration of technology so advanced it appeared magical to Council sensors. Your children will grow up in a galaxy where humanity's potential is not feared, but celebrated. Where advancement is not suppressed, but encouraged. Where the shadows hold not exile, but evolution. Across Council space, resistance crumbled as the true scope of humanity's power became clear. They had not just survived exile, they had used it to become something beyond their oppressors' comprehension. Helena turned to her crew, seeing in their enhanced forms the future humanity had forged in darkness. Send word to all Shadow Fleet elements. Operation Daybreak is successful. The Shadow Empire now stands in the light. As celebrations erupted across human ships and sympathetic worlds, Helena watched the tactical display transform. The old Council borders were already dissolving, replaced by new alliances and partnerships. Humanity had returned not with vengeance, but with vision. The galaxy would never be the same. The species that had been cast into shadow had emerged as beings of light, ready to lead the galaxy not through fear, but through innovation and evolution. The exile had ended. The Shadow Empire had risen. And the future, a future where human potential was no longer feared but embraced, was just beginning.